So guys, our just before the expansion series installments, third category, crafting. This is our last video. We are going to go over the blacksmith. This is the most complicated one and most important one there is. So, he has 4 functions. The first function is just to salvage stuff. You have something in your inventory and you can salvage. You can use this to manually salvage one by one, or you can just say salvage all items. The second function is to repair. When you die, the items receive damage and you have to repair them before they broke, right? Before they break. And playing hardcore, this is not a concern because you can't ever die. The repair cost will be the least of your worries, but in software you can keep dying, and that's what it's for. Now come the real deal, right? Tampering and masterworking. So guys, in World Tier 3 you get ancestral items, sacred items, and in World Tier 4 you get ancestral items. So if you have a sacred item, you can do 1 tampering onto it, and if you have an ancestral item, which is what you would have at the end, you can do 2 tamperings on it. So every slot has their own tamperings. For example, guys, a glove, as you can see, it can have 1 offensive and 1 utility on it. Right? You can have 2 tamperings. You can't have 2 of the same category. Right? And the recipes for tampering start dropping from like level 20. First off, you get the rare quality, magic quality, then you get the rare quality, and finally you get the legendary quality. And as you can see, there are 6 recipes that we can tamper in here. And what do we have? We have crit damage now, and we have the absolute lowest roll. So guys, there is one problem with tampering, and nothing else has this. There is a limit to the tampering that you can do. So guys, for example, I can't be saying, as you can see, I have a single roll remaining. I can't be saying, oh, I don't like this crit damage roll, it's low, let me just re-roll it and override it. And I could fail, because the thing is, guys, as you can see, it is this part of this recipe. So the thing is, guys, I have a 25% chance to get whatever I want, right? Because I do not want vulnerable, overpower, or ultimate damage. I want crit strike damage, right? Because the build scales with crit damage. So normally you could say crit damage and vulnerable damage could be close if you are inflicting vulnerable, and we are, but the thing is, this build scales of crit damage, and we specifically want crit damage. So I do not have the courage to do this, right? Because I roll all power damage and I will be getting nothing out of it. So the number of tamper tries that you have is based on, so you have 5 tries base, right? And every single great graphics on the item increases that by 1. So as you can see, this item has 6, right? Why? Because I have 1 great graphics. This item has 6 as well. This item would have 7 because it has 2 great graphics. This item, well, this item would not be. I didn't keep too much. So this item, for example, guys, has 5, right? Because it has no great graphics at all. And if it has 3 great graphics, as you can see, has 8 tamper rights. So it is likely that you can hit what you want, right? And the recipes are different, right? Some of them, we have 1 in 4 chance, 25% chance to hit the crit damage here. In here, for example, guys, if I was trying to do this, and let's say I'm trying to get master damage, and I have 1 in 5 chance, right? Because there are 5 possibilities. In here again, 1 in 4, 1 in 5. So mostly it's 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 in offensive. Right? Let's take a look at utility. What we have here is lightning speed lucky chance, and that is 1 in 3, right? That is much easier to hit. This one is 1 in 4, so it changes from recipe to recipe. In weapons, you have the weapon and the offensive category, right? That's what we do here. Again, 1 in 3 chance, right? And the second part, we have crit damage, again 1 in 4. So guys, sometimes your item goes to waste because you just can't hit the right thing, right? It is very frustrating. In a previous build video that I did, I had some boots with a useless temporary kit, I couldn't get what I wanted, and finally I had to use the item with something I didn't want, right? But when with greater fixes, it becomes more likely that you can hit what you want. So guys, the enchanting you can do over and over, right? Until you get the right one. So for example, guys, I have 63% crit damage on that ring, right? That's rerolled. You can tell from the item icon next to it, and it can be up to 70%. So guys, if I put my mind to it, I can get the 70% there, right? Rerolling many times and spending millions and millions of gold on it, right? But with temper I can't, right? I do not dare. Why? Because I have only one temper left, and I rolled the right things, right? And the crit damage, as you can see, is the minimum roll, right? I have been unlucky there, but as I said, I do not have to hard to roll it because it could reroll something that's garbage. At least now I have the right thing on a bad roll, right? So what I would hope is, get a better ring and change this, right? It can be improved. So that's how tampering goes, right? You can improve two things, and it shows you what you can. And you can tell what kind of tampering you had done by the icon, right? The X means offensive, the flame icon means resource, the dual wielded swords means weapons, and the trap means, I believe, utility. Yeah. And you could have the wings for mobility and the shield for defensive. I'm sure I have some over here. See, I have defensive and offensive on that one. On the amulet, I believe on the amulets you have so let me find the amulet that's not tampered at all. Okay, that's not tampered, right? On amulets you can just do anything and everything except the weapons, right? So you don't have to do offensive and defensive. You could do mobility and resource, but you have to pick two different categories. There is that. Okay, and finally, this is the most endgame activity there is, Masterworking, guys. So Masterworking requires those materials we just have gone over in the Alchemist, Obdusite, Ingolith, and Neaphil. These are only obtained two ways, right? From the pit, which we will be getting to, and from infernal halls, right? And you can use those materials to improve the items. So I don't have enough materials well, I could convert down, but you generally do this, guys. You just grab something that's not masterworked here. You can put it in. Oh, it's not tempered. You find something that's tempered actually. Well, I can just put the items that I have, right? So this one is Masterwork to level 9. So you can tell the Masterworking level, guys, if there are, let me see, if there are circles behind it, beneath the item, that means, it's level 1 to 4. So there are 4 circles below the item, that means it has been Masterworked 4 times. If it has triangles in it, beneath it, that means it has Masterworked 5 to 8 times, and if it has stars there beneath it, that means it has been masterworked up to 9 to 12 times, right? And this item, for example, has been masterworked fully. And so let's get into detail of masterworking. So guys, every time you masterwork, well, it's a little bit different. So the first, second, and third times that you masterwork, every single roll on the item except the aspect, the aspect is unmodified, gets improved by 5%, right? So 5%, 5%, 5%, the item gets improved by 15%, right? Everything there. So for example, guys, this item has been improved multiple times. And on the 4th level, something that's picked at random gets improved by 25%. And on on levels 5 to 8, the same thing is repeated. On level 5, 6, and 7, everything gets improved by 5%. On level 8, something random gets improved by 25%. And the same thing goes for levels 9 to 12, 9, 10, and 11. Everything gets improved by 5%. And finally, one last thing gets improved by 25%. So guys, if you fully masterwork the item, everything gets improved by 45%, and 3 random affixes get improved by 25% each. But that is not to say it has to be different things, right? It could be the same thing over and over, right? And that's why you see some blue writings somewhere, right? And you can see some yellow there, and you can even see some orange, right? So what that means, I'm sure you could guess. Blue means on level 4 or 8 or 12, it has received that 25% improvement, right? Once. Yellow means it has received the improvement twice, right? And orange means it has received the improvement thrice, right? So all of the masterworking went to the same thing, right? The conjuration cooldowns are reduced by this many seconds when a frozen herb explodes. So this stat has been improved by how much now? 120%. Why? Because guys, 5%, 3 times, so that's 45%, right? Levels 1, 2, and 3, levels 5, 6, and 7, and levels 9, 10, and 11, right? That's 5% thrice, happening thrice. So 5% 9 times. Everything has been improved by 45%. Then this one has been improved by 25%, 25%, and 25%. That is 75%. Add the numbers up, it adds up to 120%. So this has been improved by 120%. And if we get back to the lesson of greater affixes, because this is also a greater affix, as you can see, greater affix improves the stuff by 50%. So guys, this affix has been improved by 170%. So normally this item is dropping with 0.3 seconds, and we have 0.8 seconds. It's insane. I mean, you can improve the base thing that the item drops by up to 170%. So guys, this Harlequin crest drops with a 20% cooldown reduction, and if you have a greater affix on it, and you can triple masterwork like I did here, and this is quite by luck, right? You can get 54% cooldown reduction, right? And that is what makes this build tick. You have to achieve that. I mean, without it, it still works. It's supremely overpowered, but with that, it goes mighty insane, because everything is based on your lightning spear cooldown, and this is the single largest amount of cooldown reduction that you can get. But of course, a Shaco with a cooldown reduction greater affix is not very easy to find. I have been trying. Doesn't work. So guys, how do you get the triple masterworking, right? I mean, I have been lucky here. First try, right? I didn't do anything. So what you can do, guys, is reset the masterworking. So for example, guys, this masterworking is bad. Why? Because I have received maximum resistance all elements and resistance all elements. My resistance are already capped. That 25% roll is wasted. I don't want it there, right? What I want, and I also don't want the movement speed either. I want either the maximum resistance, which is, an acceptable outcome, but what I really want is the damage reduction, right? So my character becomes tanky, right? I want all 3 rolls in that damage reduction. So what I can do is reset the ranks, right? And the thing is, masterworking costs a lot of gold, right? The first 4 ranks cost 100, 200,000, 300,000, and 400,000, and they also do not cost too much materials, right? It costs the lowest material, and it doesn't cost a high amount, right? I think you pay like 100 of the site for the first levels. The problem is the gold cost goes up, and the number of materials that you require goes up, right? And they are also harder to obtain. I believe you need 440 or something. What's the name? Ingolith? Yeah, for levels 5 to 8. Right? And here comes the bomb. neutron is much harder to obtain, right? And you require 750 or so to get it from 9 to 12, right? And we can observe it here. Yeah, 9 to 10 costs 100, 10 to 11 costs, I believe, 150, and 11 to 12 costs 250 or something. So something like 550 or so neutron is required. And as I said, this requires this is harder to obtain, and as you can see, the gold cost gets more and more series as well. So all in all, guys, you have to pay like 7-8 million gold and tons of materials to get the item to the max. And here comes the bomb. You can notice a icon there. You can reset the masterworking ranks, but it costs 5 million gold. So guys, the way to hit this, right, I have been a major luck sack here. When you fail this, right, and you want to do it, you reset the whole thing, right? You waste all of your mats, and you waste all of the, like 7 million gold that you put into it, right? And it becomes rank 0 again. You get it to 4 again. You don't hit the right thing, you reset. You do it again. You don't hit the right thing, you reset. And the 0-4 reset is not that depressing, right? But 5 million gold gets you, but the material is easy to obtain. And then after you hit the right thing on 4, you can go up to 8. If you fail, then you have to reset again. So guys, I have a character in soft score, this character, I just didn't have the heart, and I gave up after hitting the right thing on 8. Right? So if the roll on 8 was good, I got to 12, and I stuck with whatever I got after this. Right? But if you want your build to be really powerful, you have to reset all the way up to 12, right? And so, for example, this item is not very ideal. Intelligence took 1 roll and the crit damage took a roll, but if you observe, the crit damage that took the roll is the item's base roll, right? And it's low. Take a look at the tampering, right? The tampering has much higher crit damage, so we want the bonuses to go actually to that secondary crit damage. Because guys, take a look at this. That crit damage, the first crit damage, the yellow one, has been increased by 50% and is on 175. Imagine losing that, right? Going down to like 120 crit damage and gaining that 50% crit damage on the 195%. That's going to be like 300%, right? I'm going to get much more. Instead of gaining like 60 crit damage, I'm going to be gaining like 100 crit damage, right? So you can understand how this can become a little bit depressing, right? You roll the thing, you reset, and as I said, guys, 5 million gold to reset the thing can be depressing, right? When you 0-4, you get the wrong thing, 5 million, right? 0-4, and 0-4 is also 1 million, right? 1 million, 5 million, 6 million, you reset, you don't like it, and as I said, guys, that part is easy, right? And thing is, the chance to hit the right thing is 1 in 5 here, right? Why? Because the legendary rolls 3 things, you tamper 2 things, and don't get funny ideas, guys. Sadly, Blizzard has thought of it. It doesn't allow you to masterwork the item before you tamper. So if you don't want your tampers to take a roll, you can't do that, right? You first have to tamper, then you can start masterworking. In here, we want it on there, but for example, in here, I would rather want the rolls go to crit chance. So, I would have done it. So, and guys, what about the great graphics? Right? The great graphics, the masterworking interaction, right? I had this in mind for a long time. So the thing is, the great graphics will make you roll the FX perfect, and it will increase by 50%, but the masterworking will take the base into account. So, for example, guys, this item is supposed to roll. There is a masterworking bonus here that can be confusing. So this item normally has 135 intelligence base, right? And you upgrade it, it gets improved by 15%, and let's say you hit the Masterworking, the 25% bonus will work on the 90 base. So because the item is allowed a maximum roll of 90 base, right? And the 5% improvements and the 25% improvements will work on the base, right? So you can think of the great graphics as a plus 45 intelligence as a bonus at the end, right? It will not receive the 25% bonus. And now you know why I have been leaving this to last, right? This is the so this is the most end game activity, guys, is this, right? What you want is you gather the gear, you masterwork, so your character gets to some power degree that is acceptable, and after that you start after resetting like mad, right? I mean, for example, the most important item for this build is this one, right? I have to hit the cooldown reduction at least twice and hopefully thrice. So what I'm going to be doing now is I will be grinding those materials. I will be resetting until I can get double or triple on the cooldown reduction. So, you know, pit, hordes, get the materials, reset, get level 4, cooldown reduction, nice, right? Which is precisely what I did with this item. But as you can see, on level 8, it hit the armor, so I have to reset, right? Reset and go again. The cooldown reduction. If I don't get the cooldown reduction, I reset all the time until I can get the cooldown reduction. After I hit the cooldown reduction, and I go again. If I hit the cooldown reduction again, I will finally go to levels 9 to 12. That's how it goes. Yeah, this one is a little bit complicated. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I shall try to answer to the best of my ability. And we have gone through the character, we have gone through the itemization, and now we have gone through the crafting system. And what remains is the, you know, the large topic of general stuff that remains. And I will see you in those videos hopefully tomorrow before, well, the expansion hits, as our series say. Bye bye.